guys, I feel like it's been forever since we have talked. So we're gonna, there's a couple more things that we need to finish. There's actually 2 things that we're gonna finish this year. So one of them is the Pythagorean Theorem. You need to get really good at this to be successful in geometry next year. This is pretty huge. The next thing after this really small unit, as you can tell, it's just like 4 pages, is there's a survey project, and I'm trying to figure out how I can change that for you guys, because it's going to be difficult for you guys to survey. So I might give you data, and then you take that data and you create what I need you to create. So I think that's how I'm going to do it, unless you can do it another way, unless you have the capabilities of actually surveying people. But let's just talk about the Pythagorean Theorem for right now. Oh, yes, and the dream vacation. Make sure you submitted that, because that is for points. The biggest thing is make sure that your flight itinerary is very detailed. Make sure you have your souvenirs there. Anything that you don't have, I'm nicking 5 points off, so including lateness. So go ahead and get that completed and submitted. I hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed grading my other classes. So there's that. So the Pythagorean Theorem is created by a man called Pythagoras. He made sure that when you're building something, that this is straight. Otherwise, it would lean. So every building uses the Pythagorean Theorem. It's one of the strongest shapes as well, a right triangle. Here's the formula. These are considered your legs, this and this. And it doesn't matter, like when you use this formula, it doesn't matter if this one's A and this one's B, or this one's B and this one's A. It doesn't matter. Your A is a leg, your B is a leg. Your C is your hypotenuse. That is always across from your right triangle, and this only works with right triangles. Okay, so that's always your C, and this is always your longest side. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do with this. You definitely need a calculator, so if you don't have a calculator, go ahead and stop this, grab your calculator, and restart. So all you're doing is you're labeling these, substituting them into the equation, and solving. So it's very algebraic. So this is, we'll say, a leg. This is a leg, and this is my hypotenuse. So again, if you did AB, that's fine. But I'm going to substitute it into that formula, which is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. What is my A? 24 squared. What's my B? 18 squared. What is my C? I don't know. So that's what I'm trying to solve for. So in my calculator, I'm going to add these two together. So I'm going to do 24 squared plus 18 squared equals, that's 900. Now my answer cannot just be C squared. To get rid of the squared, I need to take the square root of that. And to do the square root, we've done this before, you need to hit the second key, and then the opposite of the squared is the squared root, and 900, and I get 30. So C equals 30, and I'm done. Let's try another one. This time we're trying to find a leg. So we'll say A, this is B, this is C. I know this is C because it is opposite of. This is my hypotenuse. You really need to know that. So I am going to go 3 squared plus B squared, because that's a formula, equals C squared. I'm going to solve what I can. So basically what I'm saying is to simplify that. 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. I'm solving for B, so I need to subtract 9 from both sides. So b squared equals 64 minus 9 gives me 55. B equals the square root of 55. So now we're going to have to take the square root of 55. And I get a very strange number which I need to round. And I'm going to give you two options here. One is to leave it like this because there's no exact answer. The other thing would be to write it as b equals, and actually I can make it kind of be ziggy-zaggy, meaning we round, and it says round to the nearest tenth if necessary, so we're going to put 7.4. So technically, either one of these would be acceptable answers because there's not an exact answer. This one had an exact answer. This one here, it looks like you're going to find a leg as well. So, does it say A? It's hard to see for me. So I'm thinking they're already labeling these, but sometimes you can label them yourself. I highly recommend it. So again, I know this is my C because it is across from that right angle. Again, you're going to use this so much next year, it's crazy. So I'll do A squared plus 17 squared equals 20 squared. A squared plus, what is 17 squared? 289. And then 20 squared is 400. I'm solving for A. I'm going to subtract 289 from both sides. So A squared is equal to the 400 minus the 289. And then to get rid of the squared, I need to take the square root of that and see if we can get an exact answer. So second square root, let's try that again. Second square root, 111. It's not an exact answer, so I can round it to the nearest tenth or leave it like that. Okay. All right, so this is called, am I a right triangle? This is called using the converse, which is a strange word of the Pythagorean Theorem to check. You're going to plug the number and see if it's true. So this is the key here. Determine whether each triangle with the sides given is a right triangle. Circle the hypotenuse. Well, you should know the hypotenuse is the longest. So there it is on these. So I'm going to have this one my A, this one my B, this would be the C then. Here, this would be my A, my B, and C, because that has to be the C. So let's plug it into the formula. Does 36 squared plus 48 squared equal 60 squared? Punch it into my calculator. So 36 squared plus 48 squared equals 3,600. 60 squared also equals 3,600. So the answer is, since this is true, then the answer is yes, it's a right triangle. If this was false, then it would be not a right triangle. This next one, 4 squared plus 5 squared, does it equal 7 squared? So 4 squared plus 5 squared is 41. That equals 49. That is false. So the answer is no, not a right triangle. So we're going to stop there, and you are going to go ahead and do the Google form that I have for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Please do not get behind on this last few weeks. Hang in there.